and it's dark in the room. And I like fumble over to the lamp and I turn on the lamp and there's like this brown sticky log and I've been lying next to it for like 45 minutes listening to like
Uh,
Chance the Rapper while there's this log next to me. And I've already grabbed it. So I'm like, oh, I pick it up and I like sniff it.
Welcome back to Privy. Privy is a podcast about bathrooms, recorded from my home bathroom. And this week, through the power of the internet, I'm getting ready to have a friend join me here remotely, but I'll let him tell you more about that. And so I apologize now for any technical difficulty gremlins that we have, but we're gonna roll with this and see what we get. So yeah, we'll see if we can get him in here. Hello, Sam.
Yo.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry I don't have video because my laptop is still the one that I was using when you and I were at Corbin. So it's a fun thing. I have a little sticky note over it because I'm what my friends call paranoid. And I took it off and then I turned Zoom on and it was like, hey, you don't have a webcam, bud. So I'm sorry. Yeah.
No worries. You want me to turn mine off?
It's
or just want to stare at me the whole time?
Hey, it's totally up to you. I'm good with whatever, man. It's just good to hear you and see you, dude. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah,
Good.
I'm in Arizona now, just living life here. That's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did a little bit of an intro before you hopped on here, but I can just kind of and you can fill in the gaps because I'm sure I have some things totally messed up.
Mm.
But it, my introduction to who you are was you were I want to say his name was Jesse. Is that right?
Jesse Hauser.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have said his last name. I don't
No,
know.
you're good.
No. Okay.
Yeah, we're beyond the point of like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you guys were roommates, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh
freshman
yeah.
year. We're the same year, right? Let me just get this right. We're the
Yeah.
same year. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
what I
pretty
thought.
sure. Yeah, and I just remember, Jesse would come down the hallway and he was a very interesting guy. He was a super cool guy. And you would just sometimes be there just like kind of nodding and like, yeah, I don't know. And that was kind of my introduction to Sam Baggenstos. So
Yeah, I was pretty quiet freshman
yeah.
year. I imagine that's kind of the vibe I gave off.
Hey, I feel like we were all just kind of keeping our heads above water in our own
Yeah.
way.
Well, you seemed a little bit louder.
Yeah, I've always been yeah, a little louder is a good way to say it.
Yeah.
I think that's why I went into ministry with teenagers because it's just like
Mm.
you just got to shout over them sometimes.
You still doing that?
Yeah, yeah, they
Nice.
can't get rid of me yet. So, um,
Sick.
yeah, yeah, no, so feel free to even share because this might even be new information for me. But where did you grow up and like, yeah,
Mm.
just hit me with whatever information you want to share with myself and other people who like bathrooms.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm you like bathrooms, that's great. I'm from Renton, Washington. That's where I grew up.
Where is
Uh
Renton?
Renton is south of Seattle, like an hour or 45
Okay.
minutes south of Seattle.
Okay.
Actually, not in Renton, in unincorporated King County, but
Okay.
close to Renton. I had three older siblings for until I was nine, and then my younger brother was born. So there's five of us.
Wow.
Lots of going to the bathroom at my own house because we were homeschooled, and so didn't go to the bathroom in a school until I taught high school. I was a teacher for a bit. I don't know. I liked camping growing up, lots of hiking, outdoorsy stuff. Me and my brothers had a juggling and unicycling act we would do when I was younger. We were really into that.
Wow.
and then went to school at Corbin University where we met, which is great. And then never really looked back. Stayed in Salem for 10 years.
Yeah. Wow. So you mentioned, dang man. So you mentioned that like you're in Arizona now. How long have you been over there?
Like 2.5 months. It hasn't been very long.
Oh, whoa. Oh, I was just gonna say, like, do you have like family there? Cause I'm just trying to like, yeah, what took you over to Arizona? And you can even share what you're doing over there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to Corbin for English, but didn't really know what I wanted to do with it, as is I don't know, a lot of college students are that way. Just you
Yeah.
study what you're interested in, but you don't necessarily have a plan. And then I worked as a custodian for a while. And
Oh,
honestly,
yes.
yes, I was at Corbin as a custodian. And well, before that, I was AAC. I was in student life, just
Yeah.
doing student life stuff. But then I realized I don't want to do that. And I was a custodian. And then you remember Sarah Taylor, Sarah Bracken?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. She worked at Turner Elementary.
Okay.
And there was a position open to work with special needs kids. And she's like, you should apply. So I applied and I actually ended up working there for 4 years,
Dude,
like
no
the last
way.
4 years. Yeah. And then I went back to school, got my master's, got my teaching credentials in secondary education. So high school, student taught at Cascade High School in that
Yeah.
same school district. But I realized I didn't like working with high school
Yeah.
kids. So I stopped that real quick, went back to elementary school and was basically a full-time sub there this
Wow.
last school year. But along the way, realized I didn't like teaching really at all, even though I
Yeah.
love kids and I'm pretty good with like younger kids. Not as good
Yeah.
with like high school kids, but younger kids, I love being around them and they like being around me. But realized I didn't want to teach. And I was always curious about outdoor work, like conservation type stuff, trail work, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I went to 4 years of school, an English degree, and then I put all this time to get a master's degree.
Yeah.
It's easy to get in a state of mind where like, why it's kind of too late now. I invested all this time and money, but eventually I was like, screw it. I just want to try a
Right.
different sort of work. And so I
Wow.
applied to a bunch of different conservation type things like bird counts in Eastern Oregon and trail work in Montana. And then I just kept on branching out more and more as I was like kept on getting rejected by these different places. and
Wow.
then nonprofit hired me here and we do trail work and conservation work all around the state of Arizona, mainly just trails, honestly. But so I'm in a trail crew, and that's how I came out here. But I actually live with Richard Riffle. Remember Richard?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Him and
Dude,
I are roommates.
no way. Dude. Okay, so
Yeah.
I worked with Riffle at it was shoot. He would have known it as like Christian Community Placement Center. But
Okay.
it's different name now. But yeah, he and I worked together there as mentors for years.
Oh,
Like and I know he went to Corbin, I think.
he
But like
did. Yeah.
I never knew him at Corbin. I knew him from work. Uh
Oh, that's funny. Like while you
yeah.
were at Corbin or after?
It was while I was at Corbin, but he's a bit older, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, he's like early 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he was like finishing up or had already finished up and was living in the area when we were
Okay.
there, I think.
Yeah, I didn't really know him. I think I played some frisbee with him at school.
Yeah.
And then I was going through some big life changes a couple of years after graduating. And so I needed a place to live. Then so I actually lived in a house with him in Salem,
Yeah.
along with some other people that are connected to Corbin or just friends of people.
Wow.
And then he moved to Tucson to live with his brother. His twin brother,
Yeah.
Ryan, lives in Tucson as well. And then I randomly got a job in Tucson and I texted him and like, hey, can I stay at your place for a little bit? Hoping that he would say, yeah, but you want to live with me? But I didn't want to ask it.
Right.
And he's like, you just want to move in? I'm like, yes, that is what I want to do. I would like to do that.
Perfect.
So now we live in an apartment
Dude,
in
that's awesome.
Tucson.
Like, man, that is so that's small world part one, I guess. The other like weird small world thing is you're talking about your like journey through education and working in education. Like, homie, I am currently like going back to school to teach in a high school. Like,
Dude,
and I'm teaching special education of all things. So like it's
no way.
yeah, I'm living the dream. I've got the behavior kids. So
Nice.
yeah, they tell me how it is every minute of every day, dude.
Oh, yes, they do. If I were to be a teacher, like again, I think it would be in special ed, like even high school, like
Yeah.
secondary special ed. I get along with them well too. I feel like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of I mean this in the kindest way
No, I
possible,
hear
but I
you.
think it's related to, like, I like working with young kids. Then you have high
Yep.
school special ed kids, and there's kind of this young aspect to them where
Yeah. A
they're
lot
not
of
up to
times
pace. Yeah,
mentally and emotionally they are much younger than they are on paper. Um
exactly. Except
yeah.
then they know like calculus and stuff sometimes. You're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And could beat somebody up. But like
Dude, yes, there's some just massive
yeah.
special ed kids or teddy bears.
Oh yeah.
There's this, I don't know, I probably shouldn't tell a story because it's like,
Hey,
but anyway, there's
it's
some big kids that like to take their clothes off randomly and they're like
yeah.
300 pounds and they just
Yeah.
love you. And you're like, get your clothes on now.
Yeah.
Like,
Please, um, your arms are just straight up in the air, like, please stop this.
yes, I'm
Yep.
not
Oh man,
comfortable.
dude, yeah, like we we had a kid at like, yeah, never mind. Nope, I hear you. um, wow. So when you were a janitor, so I have like some bathroom. Were you doing like any sort of bathroom related janitorial, or was it like away from the zone of disaster? Like,
No, I definitely cleaned a lot of toilets while a
yes.
janitor. I didn't even think of that, honestly. But I guess, yeah. Let's see. I cleaned the dining hall in the morning, didn't do bathrooms for that. But then I did the bathrooms in PVG or in Valio and Davidson, both guys and girl bathrooms, actually, if I remember
Yeah.
right. Which is it's tough because, there's open dorm hours at Corbin. I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
how it is now, but there was only certain days where it's like open dorms. I think by the time or like open halls, like you can be
Yeah.
in the hallway. You're supposed to be allowed to be in the hallways at certain times, and you're just like hoping that there's not a girl coming out of the bathroom with a towel. And like
Uh,
I don't remember anything specific, but now and then I'd just be like so awkward. Just
yeah.
like girls coming out of the bathroom, you're like knocking on the door, and I'm like not they can't differentiate me from like another student.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe
Right.
that's better. Like if I'm like a 50-year-old guy knocking on the girl's bathroom door, maybe that's worse. I'm not sure. But you're like, anyone in here? And you just, I didn't like. But the worst part is once you're in there, then it's more terrifying because you're like in a
Oh,
stall cleaning. Like at
yeah.
least on the outsides, you hear somebody just turn away, but you're in there,
Yeah.
maybe they just run
Yeah. You
in.
you're cornered. Ah.
Yes.
Oof. Man, did you ever have to clean up any like big deposits or like wild misses or anything like that? Cause I also weird. I did janitorial at the same place Richard and I worked at for 10 years. And like those kids can't hit a target. It's bad.
You're not talking about Young Life, are you? This is something different.
No, no. Richard was doing Young Life as well at the time, but this was like
Okay.
a foster mental health services place. You
Okay.
ask him about it, he'll know. Huh.
Yeah. I can't really think of anything too terrible that I saw in a toilet. It was all, I mean, people wouldn't flush, but that's like
Yeah,
not the end of the world. And I'm pretty
yeah,
tolerable to just,
yeah.
human waste. It
Right.
doesn't bother me that much. But I don't remember anything that was particularly disgusting. I wish I had some crazy story where
Hey,
there's like
no, like it's better off that you don't.
undigested like fig bars or something. I don't know, like some random crap, yeah, in the toilet.
Yeah. Hey, no, you're better off for it. Like Yeah, that's I have a friend who's a janitor at our high school, and he's like, dude, honestly, like I haven't seen anything crazy. I was like, dude, bless you,
Yeah.
like be thankful. That's good. We're I have a hunch, but like, and you don't have, if you want to just be like, hey, I'm not answering that. I'm gonna like dig myself a hole if I do. But like, were the
Hmm.
girls' rooms a little bit worse than the guys' rooms? Like,
Oh, you're talking about the bathrooms.
yeah. Like,
Hmm. I don't think so.
oh
I think
really?
it was comparable. I
Okay.
think. I don't quite remember, to be
Yeah.
honest. That
Hey.
was that was a while ago.
Yeah.
But did you? I guess you didn't clean girls' bathrooms. Or
Oh
maybe
yeah. Well,
you
so
did.
our
Okay.
our facility did the like gender non-conforming bathrooms there towards the end. So like
Okay.
everybody was doing their business where everybody else was doing it. Uh,
Got it.
but yeah, girls create a particular type of mess that I would have to clean up. That was just like, man,
Ah. Okay.
yes,
Yes. There
yeah,
was. I. It brings back memories. Yeah. You don't usually see different colors.
yes,
I guess
yes,
maybe that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. Where it's like, I don't know, the first time like I saw it, I'm like, what happened? I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
yeah,
They didn't put it in the special little trash can.
yep. Dang,
And then, yeah, it changed a lot of those like sanitary trash, like the little mini ones.
yeah. Those
Yeah.
are a blessing and a curse because like they get weird pretty quick.
Yeah.
And it's nobody's fault, but like they just do. And
Yeah.
um, man, that's
Lot,
who.
lots of tampons on the ground and stuff like that. Or like the tampon cases, the
Yep.
plastic, like, yep, okay.
The
Yep.
blasters that it's
The
like
blasters. Yeah, they look like
the,
someone's shooting up drugs or something. They're like their
yeah.
little caps. Yeah.
Yeah, I always like think of it. It's like those little kid like air rockets where you squish the end and it like shoots the rocket off the end, but like instead it's not a rocket or
No.
or it is, and however you want to look at it. Yeah, there's probably let's be honest, no girls listen to this. So if there was, there would be like these guys have never interacted with these in a way that's actually real.
Mm.
Which is better. Yeah, so you're working trails and what are you doing with that? Are you like I was trying to get a gauge for it when we were like chatting, but like are you clearing trails or like establishing new trails? I was trying to look up the job description and I couldn't get like a feel for it.
Yeah, I mean, all of the above. You hit on
Wow.
some of the things we do. So sometimes, like post fire, a forest burns. There'll be
Right.
a lot of standing timber that's
Yeah.
like charred and maybe half alive. But that means it's just the roots are compromised or they're just really weak, and so you get a lot of logs down. So we've had to deal a lot with that in Arizona. There's been like a lot of fires over the last 10 years. So a
Yeah.
lot of trees are coming down over the trail. So it might be like in a really bad section, you have like a mile of trail and there's like, I don't know, like 30, 40 trees down over it. And so
Wow.
you have to clear those. And that's like kind of the the minimum you're gonna do. Like you don't want logs on the trail, especially
Right.
like a giant tree. But then if there's logs off the trail, there could be other things like maybe a portion of the trail goes along kind of the edge of a cliff or a bank and it's like eroded away so that you'd have to like scramble uphill in order to get around in order to get to the other side of the trail. So then we would build like some sort of retaining wall or reroute the trail. And that's
Wow.
another thing. Sometimes you just do full reroutes where,
Yeah.
for 400 meters, you just have to build completely new tread, they call it, just the surface of the trail. You need to go somewhere else. And so just figuring out where it's the best place to put it and considering drainage and where the waters can come through and all
Dude,
that sort of thing.
that's crazy. Like, I mean, I know you probably gave me a pretty, shortened version, but there were so many variables in there. It's just like, oh my gosh, wow. So
Well,
are you guys?
I don't really know I've only done this for 3 months and I have volunteered before doing trails, but I didn't really learn a whole lot. I just kind of helped out. But
Yeah,
there's a lot to it. And there's a lot of people, well, not a lot of people. There are people doing less good trail work, and my like trail crew leader be like, "Oh, they messed up here. They shouldn't have done this. Why did they route it this way?" And so
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot to it and there's a lot to learn. It's a very
Dang.
physical job though. It's pretty exhausting.
Yeah, I imagine. And so like while you're out there, are you just like camping for multiple days? Because I mean, otherwise, are you coming back in every night? Like, how's that work?
So for the most part, we're camping out of a car. We're car camping. So like in tents, but like just driving up to a
Yeah.
campsite or some sort of Forest Service site. Yeah. So I camp. I sleep in a tent more than I sleep at my apartment because
Yeah.
I'm out for 8 days and back for 6. If the trail is or the where we're doing work is so remote that it wouldn't make sense to hike in each day to do the work, then we'll camp out right near the job site because you don't want to be spending 3 hours hiking in just to do,
Right.
a couple hours of work and then having to hike back. So sometimes we'll just live out of a backpack, essentially backpacking.
Dang, man.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
But we've done
hardcore.
it's been mainly just car camping so far, but again, I've only been here 3 months, so I'm not exactly sure. I think it's for the most part, car camping is kind of the norm for
Yeah.
trail work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. So I'll here, I'm gonna beat the nail on the head. So you shared that while you're out on these trail crews, you've had ample opportunity to use bush and to do your business in nature. So like feel free to give all of us just some Sam Baggenstos pro tips of
Pro tips. Okay.
going to in the bush.
Yeah, I think the first thing is after you've been going to the bathroom outside for a while, and after you've known your crew, you start going closer and closer to where they are. Like the first time, you're like hiking a mile away. You're just getting so far away so that no one could possibly hear or see you. But pretty soon, it's like if I'm going to be pooping multiple times a day in the outdoors, and especially if it's a remote trail, there are times we'll be pooping like literally like a couple of feet off the trail. I mean, I've done it. If there's no one there, like the trail is so like terrible that
Yeah.
no one's coming out there. It's been closed for years. So you just gotta if you poop as close as you can because you don't want to make any more trouble for yourself than you have to.
Right.
So poop nearby. Let's see. Don't wear your bright orange hard hat if you're on the trail crew. The first couple times I'm like, oh, I'm really well hidden. And I realize I'm wearing this bright orange hard hat. They can see me through the woods, even if I'm
Right.
like, 500 yards away. So
Squatting and like looking
yeah,
around, like I wonder if anybody
uh,
can see.
yeah. The nice thing about doing trail work and pooping is that you have excellent tools available to you to dig a
Yeah.
really good cat hole. So you
Yeah.
have these things called pickmatics or Pulaskis that have just like a really nice pick at the end and like a matic type, like hoe type thing on the other side. So you
Okay.
can dig like an 8-inch deep cat hole in like, I don't know, 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
Wow. Wow.
Because I don't know if you've ever tried to dig a hole with a stick or
It's
your
not
shoe. I don't
great.
know. No, and you end up like just basically doing the thing from up where you poop
Yeah.
first and you cover it up and make a little mound. So if you have a good tool, it just makes it so much easier.
Yeah. Dang.
Oh, let's see. I guess how much have you pooped outside?
Oh, I've when I was growing up, my dad and I and my uncles would go hunting, and so
Uh,
you'd hang it over a log every now and then and just kind of like hold on and let it fly.
yeah.
And then I've gone like in necessity, like if I'm out and about, like I think the last time was probably 4 years ago. And I was
Mm,
hiking and I just, you just trundle up into the woods a little ways and go and
yeah,
um, you're not doing it regulation then, but here we are.
right.
But yeah, no, I don't go out of my way to do it, but like I'm
Mm,
cool with it. You know,
yeah.
I like the idea of it.
Do you like the experience, like pooping outside?
Um, I'm gonna go with the honest answer and say I don't really. Like I
Yeah.
I think and part of it is because I think it's anxiety about like
Mm,
should I be doing it here? And then there's also just like, this isn't how things normally go. Like
Yeah.
I've got a coddled bottom where it's just like, I'm so used to like coming in contact with porcelain to where now like the act of doing that just kind of puts my mental state in okay, now it's time to flush it out.
Yeah.
And so I think I have to hype myself up a lot more when I'm in the woods or even, I think even on like porta potty situations, I have to get kind of hyped. I would rather poop over a log than in a porta potty half the time though.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Porta potties are just disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't know, box.
Yeah.
And they just heat up.
Filled with turds.
So part of the reason I asked is I was just curious what sort of things you use to wipe with outside, because everyone's got their own different material they use. Like I do carry toilet paper, and I usually use toilet paper, but I'm also just always looking for like good material when I'm just hiking around, working and thinking if I had to go, what would I use? And in Arizona, everything is prickly and hard and dry. You live in the Pacific Northwest, where it's toilet paper all around you. You can just pick a branch off a tree. It's gonna be pretty soft. But here, you're gonna get a thorn up your butt if you do that.
It's a cactus.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. I mean, this is probably like, man, we're going to the dark zone. So, I on the show a long time ago, I talked about how like the ancient Romans or somebody, it was like ancient like Native American cultures and stuff. They would use like a spent corn cob. And you just kind of get back there with the spent corn cob. So like, I would think, and it's biodegradable. So like, you're not, but I would think like any sort of like, like orange peel, I feel like that's got to be a strong pick. It's got a little bit of a flexibility to it, but
an orange peel.
Yeah, I think, see, if I'm up against the wall and I don't have paper, I'm either just gonna like do a leaves and finger and just kind of like wash that off later, or I'm gonna reach for like some sort of fruit rind, or I don't know, man. Yeah. No, but yeah, a fruit rind of some sort is like the top of my head answer there. But I honestly, yeah, you're right. Like you're in the desert. It's tough. I
usually try to look for young plants. So like a really young fern that's just popped up. It can be really soft. But then sometimes you have like little particles of the plant coming off as you're wiping. And it's just like if you had a giant pile of shredded toilet paper, like that's not ideal. And that's kind of what it's like. You just have like a giant pile of like soft. But you start to get more less picky.
Yeah.
as you poop outside more. At least I have found that personally. And I have coworkers that would find with using a rock, like a smooth stone, or they'll use like a pine branch. Like one person just uses it doesn't have to be a young pine branch, and you just kind of do it the right way. You don't want the needles going the wrong way. Go with the grain. Go with the grain, and that I imagine that works pretty well. And the only thing with pine is that it gets really sappy, so that could be bad. So you got to be careful there's no sap on it. But the stones, I hear those are quite nice. You get a nice smooth stone, but it also depends on the individual butthole, I guess, because some people have like an Andy Dwyer like marker situation from Parks and Rec, where it's just a rock's not going to do it. You're going to coat that whole thing, and you're still coming out. So
yeah, you're going to need the full 5 smooth stones to get that job done.
Exactly, you need a whole pile.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, the dude that's on the pine branch situation, that is something else.
Right.
Yeah.
It fascinates me how some people are a lot quicker, a lot slower than others, because they'll just be some people be gone for like 20 minutes, and other people it's just like in and out type situation. And this isn't just outside, but some people are so quick. They just drop their log and then they're back. But other people it's like an experience, I guess. I don't know.
Right. Wow. That's that the pine branch has got me, dude. Like I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. I'm sure it's probably not as bad as I think.
Yeah.
But man, I think there would be a barrier there for me.
Yeah. I mean,
That
some people when they backpack, they like use leaves or rocks or something for like the bulk of it, and then they kind of polish with like a little bit of toilet paper, like a square.
okay. I like the
And then
idea of the
some,
polish.
yeah, and some people are a little bit more finicky about leaving like essentially trash in the woods. It's toilet paper. It's called toilet paper gardens. Like you come back
Right.
later to a certain spot and there's toilet paper everywhere. That's
Right.
kind of not nice. But
Wow.
you'd think it would
Yeah.
biodegrade really easily, but it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. Like it doesn't break down. They've got to put something in it that makes it pulpy or something. I don't know. Yeah. It's something else. I'm lost for words on that pine branch. I don't know why. I'm stuck on that. Hey, good for him.
More power to him. He's a champ.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, so Sam, I have and do you have any other like just wild stories that you want to share? Because
Pooping stories.
yeah, or just like bathroom stories in general.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, I have like an embarrassing one from when I was younger.
Hey,
It's so when I was younger, I was the baby of the family until I was like 9, and then my younger brother came along, surprise, and he was born. But before that, I was the youngest. We were all like separated by like a year and a half or so.
right.
Four of us older kids. And for whatever reason, it took me a long time to learn how to wipe. It just wasn't an easy process for me. And, being homeschooled at home all the time, and then being the youngest and not quite knowing when I was like saying something embarrassing. I would say things at home that like when you're out in public, like it's not okay to say or it's embarrassing. So one of
Yeah.
the things I would say instead of like, so I would be going to poop. And I was one of those kids that would just be on the toilet forever. I was like a big daydreamer. So it'd take me a long time to poop. And so my mom wouldn't know to wipe me until I told her. And so every time I finished pooping, which could be like a half hour, I would shout out, I need wiping. And like at home, like whatever, no one really cares. Like they're just used to that. And then so I just didn't know that that would be an embarrassing thing to say, didn't think it through. And the one time I was over at our family friend's house and I was in the bathroom, just having a great time, pooping, daydreaming, just doing my normal stuff.
Right.
And then my mom wasn't coming. And so which was normal. So I just shouted, I need wiping. And I just hear this laughter immediately from everyone who was there, like my family, like my friends and my friends' parents and whoever else was there. They were just laughing and laughing. And then that just dawned on me, like, this is such a stupid thing to say in front of all these other people. And from then on, I never said that. I never shouted that again. Like even when at home, it was just like so embarrassing. But then my mom hadn't gotten used, and I was still pretty young. So I still didn't know how to wipe. And so my mom had gotten used to me shouting it. And then fast forward, like, I don't know, 6 months or something, I'm at my grandma's house and I'm in this bathroom. And like, this isn't just family friends. Now we have like all these relatives just in this house. And I'm pooping and I'm done. And I don't want to shout out, I need wiping, because I realize, the negative social things that'll happen then. So
Yeah.
I'm just waiting, just hoping, come on, mom, come wipe me. I don't even know if I even told her I was pooping.
No.
And so I was just in there for so long and I just started crying. And I think eventually my mom came and found me, and it was just so embarrassing. And I think that's probably when I learned how to wipe. I'm like, this can't happen. I just need to know how to do this. Isn't like it's that. I mean, it is kind of difficult when you're young and your motor functions are kind of bad.
It's tough, dude. Like like with our kids, we're our son's old enough now where we're trying to like, I mean, he still does that where it's like, Dad, but we're like, hey, you're fixing to go to school, dude. Like you got to try to figure this out. And
Oh, geez. I have so many stories of having to wipe kids' butts in school. Probably just stories I can't tell, but just like I have dealt with so much human poop while a teacher. Like when you when you sub as a kindergarten teacher, as a first grade teacher, and then special ed, like it's just
Dude,
poop all the time, pee all the time. Yeah.
you are
Then
wiping a lot.
and the boys don't care. The boys will be like, they'll shout from the bathroom if
Yeah.
there's a situation, unless they're like super shy. But it's not until like they're like 6 or 7 they get really self-conscious. So
Yeah.
most kindergartners are just like whatever. But like the girls, they'll just they won't say that there's a problem and they get really embarrassed and they feel so. I mean, then I can't deal with it, and then I'm having to have to get an instructional
Right.
assistant or call the office or something like that because what am I going to do if a girl poops her
Yep.
pants? I guess I can just
Yep.
tell her to go change it, but she probably can't even do that. So,
Right. Man,
yeah.
that's tough. I'm very glad that I work with high school students. There's a lot
Yeah, for the
less
most
of that.
part, they got it down.
Yeah. Yeah. Every now and then you see one doing a funny little walk and it's like, hey, bud, you good? Do you need to let's go take a walk down to the clothes closet? I think you know what to do. Um,
Oh,
Partner.
the saggy walk. It's
Yeah.
it's a telltale sign.
Yeah. Dude, I saw one like the saggy walk started and just it came right out the pant leg. Just and I'm like,
Oh, I've
nope,
seen
we're
that.
not
I've seen
stopping. We're
that.
just moving. If we stop to go back for it, everyone's gonna know that you did that. Um,
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's something else. Uh, wow. Hey,
Geez.
but I mean, I feel like what you went through is pretty normal. Like, I feel like that's typical little kid stuff, you know?
I hadn't thought about that for years. And then when I was going to come on here, I'm like, I was just thinking about poop stories. I'm like, oh yeah. I just
Yeah.
remember just that being like so embarrassing for so long. Like,
Yeah.
and I was so introverted too,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like so shy. It's like, yeah, the I would rather cry in the bathroom for 2 hours than have anyone know that I need wiping.
Oh, dang, man.
I know, poor Sam just sitting by himself on the
Yeah.
toilet.
Yeah. And then there's me just like, I pooped. You know,
Oh,
I'm
it just came back to me. It's my aunt. I don't think I locked the door or something. My aunt came in and found me crying on the toilet. That's what happened.
oh
Yeah, that's fine.
man.
That was rough.
Wow. That is tough, dude. Man, I don't even know. That
Mhm.
I really, I know it's like a long time ago, but that's a thing. I don't know. I think little kids go through that a lot. It's being a little
Yeah,
kid's hard.
dude. Yeah, I got a lot to figure out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably pretty great having like most of your stuff paid for you, but like
Yes.
other than that, it seems like it's generally undesirable. Uh
To be a kid. Is that what
yeah.
you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd go back.
Well, hey, I have some questions that I ask everybody and that yeah. And feel free if it comes up and you're just like, nah, I ain't doing that one. Pass, hard pass. But I feel like they're pretty safe.
I'm
Um,
a pretty open book. The only reason I would never talk about something, generally speaking, is to protect other people. That's
right,
really the only
right.
reason. I will talk about pretty much anything. But
Yeah.
first,
Yeah. So you talked about like your toilet papering situations when you're on the trail or trail crew.
Mhm.
But there in the riffle Casa de Riffle, what type of toilet paper are you guys rocking there? Like, or if you Sam are choosing the toilet paper, what are you picking? Like, what are
What
you
am I
going for?
thinking? I'm just looking at what toilet paper we even have right now.
Yes.
I'm not like a toilet paper connoisseur. This appears to be like 2 ply.
Okay.
Um,
Acceptable.
on the trail, I use 1 ply.
Yeah.
We have Angel Soft here.
Oh dang.
Mega Roll. Uh,
Woof.
is that good? I don't know if that's
That's
good.
that's thick. That's a thick roll. Um.
2 ply.
Oh, the trail comment just prompted my brain. Have you ever seen the trick where you poke your finger through the toilet paper and then you like like dig the brown out with the finger, and then you just kind of like reverse sandwich the paper over your finger and just like remove all of it with like 1 or 2 squares.
Where
Because
did you
that's like
where did you hear that?
um my buddy who is in the military, so word gets out that I like bathrooms too much, and then everybody just has like, hey, have you ever
Yeah,
done this? And I'm like, oh, under what context would
yeah.
I scream my index finger down my butthole to do that? Like,
Yeah.
he's like, well, when you need to. And I'm like, well, no. But
So
yeah, that's one.
that's super funny because we were just having a conversation about pooping on the trail crew. And that thing that you just said is
Yeah.
apparently something like a initiation thing or a prank thing that
Oh,
on
really?
trail crews that they'll do sometimes, like in conservation corps. So like I get paid like a full-time employee. Most
Yeah.
people that are on trail crews are pretty young or in college or just out of college and they're getting paid stipends. And so you just get paid like nothing to do trail work, but you get like experience. How most people get into it is through the conservation
Yeah.
corps. But apparently that's like something like you can like tell
Mess with
people this
somebody.
is yeah, you can mess with someone. I don't know. Isn't that kind of
Ma-
funny?
Maybe my homie is messing with me is really what we're learning. Like,
I don't
he's
think
probably like, hey,
anyone
you should try this.
I don't think anyone actually does that. If you have a square of toilet paper, I feel like it's just a better use of it to just use the square.
Right. Now that
That's
I'm thinking through it, as usual, Sam, you're making more sense than the world around you. And then, so when you have access to your paper, are you a folder or are you a crumpler?
oh, I fold for sure. Yeah, I'm a
Perfect.
folder. Do you
Yeah.
fold?
Oh, absolutely. It's just a sign of an orderly mind, it
Exactly. I'm usually try to do three squares too.
you my dude, I'm on record like 3 squares, 4 to 5 if it's wet. Like,
Mm,
it's, you know, if
yeah.
you've got a particular swamp going on, you got to maybe get like 1 or 2 extra squares. But yeah, 3 squares is really, it should be able to get it done.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, are you a bar soap or a liquid soap lad?
Oh, liquid soap. Bar soap is
Yeah.
just, I don't know how you do it. You like wipe your hand on it once and then you get a tiny bit of soap. And then like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. You're supposed to get it wet and then just like coat your hand in it. Are you supposed to take the bar soap and
I
put it on your
I
body?
I think you like, so if well, yeah, and if you don't have a rag, you have to just like go straight to the body with the soap. But
Yeah.
if you have a rag, I think you like nest the soap in the rag. I don't know.
I see, I've grabbed the soap before, but I only ever grab a bar of soap when I'm at someone else's house. And it's like, has this touched my friend's mom's, butt? I don't want to put that on
Yeah,
my body
or other things.
or other things. And then if
Yeah,
you grab the soap, like when soap gets wet, it gets slippery. And so you're going to drop it too. So
yeah,
I don't know. Liquid
yeah,
soap. I'll do, a
yep, yep.
honey body wash or whatever.
Okay,
Old
okay.
Spice. Usually get the old,
Hey,
like
yeah,
Kraken, Old
absolutely.
Spice body wash. That stuff's good too.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Sam? How do you feel about baths?
Baths. Jeez. I don't usually take baths. Now and then, if I'm really sick and feverish, it feels really good to pour a hot bath. Pour a bath.
Yeah.
You get a bath
Hmm.
going. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
just fill the tub with water. I'm just describing a bath is what I'm doing right now. So you fill it up with hot
Hey.
water, then you get in the water, and then it's different than a shower because you're just sitting in the water. And that's pretty nice.
Yeah. There's there's a body filth thing that I have to get past for baths.
Mm, that's a good point.
But I guess if you're sick, I could see where you could get past it a lot quicker. It's like, this is helping me not feel terrible.
I will also, yes, that is true. I will also say, and I won't not get in particulars to go any farther in this. Baths are not romantic. They're just
Absolutely
disgusting.
not.
And it's just too many people in a tub. A tub's not very big. So
I
romantic baths, I mean, I would pour a bath for someone, put some bubble bath in here.
yes.
Sure, I'll
Yes.
bring you a glass of wine, but you can
Yeah.
stay in there by yourself.
Yes. Allow me to make this awesome for you. Um, Sam, it's so weird. I had that exact conversation too frequently, like within hours of right now. And it's just me trying to explain, like, this is just not it. Like,
No,
this is not feasible.
no, the mechanics of it don't work out very well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. I could not agree more. And you're right. We should just leave it right there. Do you have any bathroom pet peeves, like stuff that people do in the bathroom that's just like, and I know you were an RA, and even if it's like from back in those dorm days, like things people do in the bathroom that are just like, can you stop? We need to be better.
I mean, the things that come to mind are just like the normal ones, like not like if you're gonna really stink it up, then turn on the fan. I would rather you just turn on the fan and just kind of let it naturally go away than to
Yeah.
spray. Sometimes that can make a terrible poop free thing that's worse than
Yes.
just smelling someone else's poop. I would rather smell that than like some artificial rose smell on top of it.
Right.
So
Right.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess you could. I know some people like flush multiple times as they're going, and that's like
Yeah.
supposed to help with it. Like some people don't even like smelling their own poop, and so they poop once and they flush. I was just talking about this, some female coworkers of people that poop and because they don't want this aroma going on, and
Ah,
they don't even like their own aroma, which I feel like a lot of people don't mind the scent of their own
yeah.
flatulation.
Yeah. I mean, I think our brains are like wired to be okay with our own thing. It's
Yeah,
like, yep, that's me. I
yeah.
I did that.
Just turn the fan on. I guess that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So as far as like fast food or not fast food, it can be sit in. If and when you eat out,
Yes.
have you had a chance to figure out what is just fouling you up the worst? Like
Ah,
who does you the dirtiest?
I mean, like you're thinking particular restaurants or food
Yeah,
types
or
or
even you could even get as focused in as like this item from this place
got
is
it.
the end zone.
Well, I know a lot of people talk about like fast food Mexican, Taco Bell, Taco Time. It's kind of a big one. I feel like people make jokes about that all the time. I just don't really eat that very often, but I think the thing that gets to me the most is spicy food. So
Yeah.
I like spicy food, but I also think I like spicy food more than I like spicy food. And if they're like, if I'm going to a chicken wing place and they've got, you know, hot wings,
Yeah.
and then they've got super hot wings, and then they got obliterate your butthole hot wings, and then they got sign a medical, like release form hot wings. I have to pick the medical release form one because
Oh
it's like I want
no.
to try the hottest thing they have. And I know I mean, it depends on the place. Some places are legitimately like, this is terrible. Some are like, oh, this is
Yeah.
good. I'm glad I got the hottest thing. But regardless, if it's hot, it makes me want to vomit. And the next day, I've
Oh
just got
no.
diarrhea and just fire
Yeah.
butthole and all those things.
Yeah.
But I do like it. And I was
Yeah.
reading an article about how it actually releases like dopamine. You get to a certain
Yeah.
point, you get like an actual
Yeah.
high from hot foods. And so there's like a reason people who are like
Yeah.
addicted to hot foods, they like it because it's like doing something chemically while at the same time
Yeah.
it's painful. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just know. And there's certain foods you eat that I eat and I know instantly, oh, this is gonna be trouble.
The
This is
chicken wing dread,
oh my
you know.
gosh, yeah.
Wow. Hey, he's a heat seeker. So when we were at Corbin, do you remember Matt Gibson? Gibby? He was
Yeah.
a soccer guy.
Yeah, you have orange hair or do you have blonde hair?
He had like, yeah, like kind of strawberry blonde.
Like I'm
Yeah.
serious, but he just
Yeah.
kind of he did the golf ball trick shots too,
Yes,
where
you've
his
got
shirt
it.
is
You've
always off. Yeah, yeah, got it.
shirts off, tarps off, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gibby, he introduced us to the dark shower. And have you ever taken a dark shower? And if so, what was your experience with it?
I just love that it's called the dark shower. It's like
The
some
dark
sort of
shower.
forbidden thing. Um, I mean, I've definitely done it when the power's off. Like there's still
Oh
hot
yeah.
water in your hot water tank, but you have no
Yeah.
power. And so I think that's good. But
Yeah.
then when you get to the point where all your hot water's gone and you're taking a
Yeah.
dark shower with cold water, and you know as soon as you get out of the shower, it's still going to be cold. And then you have to, go across the other side of the house to get your clothes. Like it's just too much of a bad thing at that point.
Yeah.
Dark shower, hot
Yeah.
water, kind of
Yes.
nice. But then
Yeah.
you start adding in these other variables that for me have come along with a dark
Yeah.
shower. Then
Yeah.
yeah.
I roll, so I'm regularly like, if I'm showering in the morning, it's usually like 4 to 4:30,
Mm,
and I'm trying to just keep the light down in the house
mm,
because I'm not waking toddlers up. It's just not going to happen. And I've just begun to take the dark shower out of necessity, and I love it. Like
ah,
it's like Gavin Lau, he described it as like you're being birthed into your day. It's that like slow ease into the light. And
yeah.
he, he's a poet, if anything. Have Yeah. Have you ever eaten or do you drink anything while in the shower?
I feel like I don't know, but that sounds so nice. If you were to
Yeah.
ask if I eat anything on the toilet, 100% yes.
Oh,
I've
what
eat,
are you eating on the toilet?
have you ever eaten anything on the toilet first?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad I'm not like, I'm glad I'm in good company. Um, I don't know, like snack food. Like I'm not gonna eat a
Yeah.
salad on the toilet, like something salty or fatty,
Right.
like a bag of chips, or maybe like maybe ice cream or
Yes.
a
Yep.
chocolate
Popsicle.
bar. Just something good. Something,
Yeah.
yeah.
The optics on a chocolate bar might be a little freaky, but like
Ah,
you,
yeah. I don't
you
know if
know,
I've done a chocolate bar specifically. Maybe more like a Snickers bar. So, well, that's
yeah.
worse.
See, I like the idea of somebody walking in on that, and it's just like, what are you doing? Uh, what is that?
Speaking of a Snickers bar, my coworkers played a prank on me recently. We were on, they call it them hitches when you're off on
Yeah.
these different projects. So we were on hitch, but we got to stay at a Forest Service building because that's like a luxury. We're sleeping on like cots and we have a kitchen and a TV. And I go in like, when it's dark, like we usually go to bed pretty early because we work 10-hour days. It's really exhausting. So I went to bed kind of late. It was like close to 9 or something, maybe.
Yeah.
And I usually listen to music before I go to bed and just listen to music. And I probably listen for like a half hour, maybe 45 minutes. And then I have Bluetooth earbuds. And so my phone's just sitting in my bed somewhere. So I'm feeling around to see where my phone is. And then my hand goes on this thing and it's like this
Ugh.
sticky log thing, like a turd, and it's dark in the room, and I like fumble over to the lamp and I turn on the lamp and there's like this brown sticky log just, and I've been lying next to it for like 45 minutes listening to like
Uh,
Chance the Rapper while there's this log next to me. And I've already grabbed it, so I'm like, oh, I pick it up and I like sniff it and like it's kind
oh
of
no.
sweet. I'm like, oh, okay, well this isn't, I don't think it's poop, but maybe there's all sorts of thoughts going through my head. I'm like, did I poop in my sleep the other night and I like
Oh, oh
did a
gosh.
perfect log on my bed? So I just grab it and I put it on the
That
floor.
smells good.
It was so just I was like, what the fuck? Apparently they were waiting and they were like they knew I went to the room to sleep and just like at my own room. And then like they hear
Yeah.
nothing and then I don't say anything the next morning. Because I just
Oh my
forgot about it.
gosh.
But it was just like a Cliff
Wow.
Bar that they had like molded into a log.
Oh.
I've never like grabbed, I don't know. It was disconcerting.
Yeah.
Did not like that. It was pretty funny.
Wow. Dang. Yeah. That's wild. Um, Have you ever, or if not, would you ever perform a waffle stomp? Do you know what a waffle stomp is? It's fine if you don't. It's better if you don't.
I don't know what it is.
Perfect. So a waffle stomp is when you just defecate into the bottom of the shower while you're showering, and then you just like kind of river dance it like to to where it washes itself down. And it's called a waffle stomp because like some of those showers have the like waffle grate, like,
Ah,
and you stomp it through the grate, you know?
I have never pooped in the shower
Okay,
that I can remember.
perfect.
Oh,
Hey, you're,
geez. I would just, if the toilet's right there, I think I would just go out to the toilet. Then I get
yeah.
back in the shower.
Yeah. Are you drying off at all? Or are you gonna just, is it just wet?
I might just sit wet. That's not bad. I've
Yeah.
done that many
Yeah.
times. You ever gone
Yeah.
straight from the shower to the toilet and it's just like, whatever.
I usually dry my legs and my butt off.
Yeah,
Just because it's a little slippery. Um,
that's true.
but I'm not opposed to anybody doing, yeah, I think what you do is the logical thing. Now there's this subclass, I'm gonna say class, because that has to be what it is, who are like pooping and catching it, and then they like try to skeet it into the toilet like some sort of basketball trick shot. And it's just like, just get out of the shower.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that one's, I'm stomping it before I'm tossing it. Um,
This might be, I don't know. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. But is
oh, I
there
will.
like I really like Austin Kent's story. That one was
Oh my
really good.
gosh.
And his voice is just amazing. Like he's just like a
Yeah.
big goober. He's great.
Yep.
But where am I going with this? Oh, it seems like you stay in pretty safe territory. Do you ever like do research on something? Is there like a culture on the internet where it's like poop stuff? You're like, that's too far. I don't want to
Yeah.
read about this anymore. I feel like there's got to be
Yes.
stuff you just don't touch because it's like,
Yeah. So I have a notes, open a notes page open in my phone, and there's safe topics. And then there's ones that are on like the weird part of this list where it's like, I don't even know if I could talk about that. Like,
mm,
um, but yeah, there's definitely like a weird dark underbelly of, yeah, when you just start researching like just anything related to do with pooping, it gets pretty wild.
yes.
And it exists. And I know that it exists. And I just, it's one of those things where it's like one day probably won't, but like I'm waiting for the day where like, you and I are chatting and I have somebody on the show and they just drop the bomb where it's like, hey, have you ever heard of this? And it's one of those freaky things that's sitting on that list.
Yes.
And I'm just going like, yes, I have. And it's not going to be a proud moment. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You-
no, there's definitely some randy stuff out there.
yeah. You generally not, sorry, this is probably getting off topic. Do you generally not like
No,
swear? Like, do you have like some parameters? Like,
I don't. Austin was my first episode labeled explicit. And so, and he didn't really even go off that much. But I don't give people parameters because I just like, I have a buddy, he's going to be on the show and he's going to drop the bombs. And, I'm sitting over here like, well, are we going to deconstruct our like, like Sunday school, I'm fine with it. Like I'll kind of read the room. And if the person seems like, yeah, this doesn't bother me, I'm cool with it. There's nothing anybody's going to say that's going to bother me.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah. No, but then I'm also like working at a church and
Yeah.
I've got students and more importantly, students' parents who listen. And it's like, hey, first, I mean, you clicked on a podcast about taking a poop. So like you should, I'm running out of euphemisms for it,
Mm.
you know?
You know that, PewDiePie,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
he released a game. This is like 3 or 4 years ago. Do you remember this?
No.
It was called like the Kingdom of Poopy or something.
Okay.
And
Going
it
into
was
the notes app.
like an arcade style thing. It might have been like a platform. I don't even know, but it was like kind of this dumb little game. It was called like the Kingdom of Poopy PP or something. Poo Poo PP, I think.
PewDiePie.
You iTunes deleted it, or whoever, Apple Games or whatever service it was on. They said they deleted it because it was too explicit.
Too
I just thought that
crass.
was absurd because it's just like poop humor the whole time.
Right.
And they have other games that like have all sorts of like sexual things, and like that's
Yeah.
okay, but then you can't have like a Kingdom of Poo Poo Pee Pee. I'm like, what the heck? Is
Yeah,
that coming up
that's
with anything? Are you searching that?
I'm not right now, but yeah, I tossed it in my notes app. That's gonna be
Nice.
a deep dive later for sure.
Uh,
It's that's absurd. Like we all poop, and the fun thing was like, unless you mark a an episode as explicit, if it
yeah,
contains like the word butt or like anything that is right on the edge or crap,
yeah.
it censors it. It just like puts a C with two dashes, and it's like, can we come on? Like, there's kids'
Yeah.
cartoons that have worse stuff than this. Like, just chill out.
So I have the
Yeah.
article up right here. It says the YouTube star released this new mobile game, Poop Die, that is revealed it's only currently available on Android. So Apple said it was too disgusting for them. It was due to the crude imagery.
Interesting.
I
I'm
thought that was crazy.
I'm gonna see if I can like I have a Fire tablet. I'm gonna see if I can get that downloaded and
Yeah, it might be
do a
amazing.
deep dive on that. Well, shoot, Sam. I appreciate your time. I know this actually like this was a long one. But I think it's just because it's been a minute.
Yeah, sorry,
Uh
I just kind of started talking and just didn't stop. So
no,
my
no,
apologies.
that's the best. I love it. That's exactly what I love. Yeah. Do you have anything last things to share with folks? Before I always tell people when I do the closing, I feel like a dog that's taking a dump in the backyard while people watch. Like I hate doing the closing, but how else will they know it's over?
Right, just got to end it eventually. Yeah.
Yeah,
Final poop thoughts. But maybe it's not even what you asked. I don't know. Just keep on pooping in the free world, I guess. Just
yeah,
we can still poop in freedom. So that's
that's
like
right.
a great thing. There's been no like freedom of poop is a pretty big deal. And in the Western
I
world, we
agree.
take it for granted.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. I'm just
They're gonna start
spitballing,
regulating us here in a little bit. I know it.
right? Like length
The,
and
yeah,
smell.
yeah. If you flush more than twice, we're gonna start charging you.
Right. Oh,
Oh,
you get me going on these low water toilets. Like that's a disaster waiting to happen.
oh, it's just bad.
It's bad.
It,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. Well, shoot. I'm gonna close out the show and then I'll turn the recording off and we can just yak if you want, or if you're like, hey man, I'm tired, that's cool too. But yeah, thank you for being here, Sam. And thank you all for listening. As always, you can reach out to us on social media. We're out there, privycast at gmail.com. We'd like to thank Kevin McLeod for the use of Barroom Ballet as our intro and outro music. You can find Kevin's music at incompetech.com. Thanks, Kevin. This has been another episode of Privy. Thank you so much for listening. And now, as always, don't forget to flush. You get to hear the fun audio as I move the mic to the back of my toilet. Oh, I don't think I told you, Sam. This is recorded in my bathroom.